Welcome back to another episode of the Northern Illinois Huskies Rebuild in NCAA 25. Last episode, we played the beginning of our conference games. We went 3-0. However, the big problem we had was, technically not a problem because we still ended up winning games. But Ethan Hampton, our starting quarterback, did end up getting injured. So now we're without our starting quarterback for the next 3 weeks, which is basically the remainder of the season. He'll still play a few games. However, we are going to finish the season this episode, obviously. So at this point, it probably shouldn't be that long considering, we're already pretty deep into the season. Now, last episode, I also kind of asked the comments. Obviously, we didn't really get a reply, but I tried to see if we should go after a 5-star quarterback who has no offers right now. And I think we should, even though we have Sean Dukes. I think adding as many talented players to this team as possible is going to help us regardless. If you look at our quarterback position, all of our quarterbacks aside from Sean Dukes, who is a freshman, they're all seniors this year. So we have to bring in a whole new room of QBs. And even if Sean Dukes does start next year, I wouldn't mind getting this 5-star in Jared Suggs. I don't know, how it's going to work. Right now, we're not giving that many points to him, but we definitely could take points off of some of these other guys and give it to him if we want to end up, getting him. But I don't mind trying to get a 5-star quarterback at any time. Getting a 5-star talent is definitely something that I don't mind, and it's always good to add talent to the team. So we're gonna go after him. If we don't get him, we don't. If we do, then it's also nice because then we have an even more talented QB room. So regardless of what happens, we'll be good. But we're 6-1. It's time to play against Central Michigan, who is 1-6. Quickly, I do want to see overalls. Yeah, in terms of overalls, we are also the better team in every way possible. Our offense is better, our defense is better, and let's hope we can keep building on to this already pretty good season. I did not expect us to be this good this year, and it really is coming from a lot of our freshmen are playing really, really good. And our quarterback position has been actually pretty good this year too. And I say our quarterback position because we technically have had 2 different starting quarterbacks. But yeah, we're going to get into the game against Central Michigan and see how that game goes. Can we continue our win streak? Late in the game here, 59 seconds remaining, and they get an onside kick that they recover. So, no, we get the ball. We get the ball, and we actually kneel it out. I swore I thought that they recovered it. But we kneel out the ball, and we actually continue our win streak. So, I'm not going to lie, I got faked out by my own team right there. I thought we were the ones not in white. I don't know. I was tripping out, okay? But we do keep our win streak alive. Player of the game, our sophomore receiver, Kyle Thomas, as we are now 7-1 on the season, or 7-1 on the season. Let's take a look quickly at the stats for the game, see how everyone played. That game got pretty close towards the end. We had a big lead for a lot of it, and then they started to come back. But let's take a quick look at all of our stats. So our quarterback Kenny Luth had 20 for 28, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. So that was a pretty good game. Running, Shakir Westbrook's 13 rush attempts for 80 yards, no touchdown, and a fumble. He's been fumbling the last few games, but he still is getting his yards. Less carries than he usually does get, and he still had up to 80 yards. So he's having also a really, really good season. Joshua Pridgeon got injured, it says, and he had 5 carries for 7 yards. That's not the greatest at all, but he did have a touchdown. And then we also had another one of our running backs have 2 rush attempts for -1 yard and a touchdown. So that's an interesting stat line. And then receiving, a lot of our receiving, it was really good. We also have apparently another injury with Kenji Lewis. So we're going to have to go out and see who really is injured now, because it looks like we're dealing with a lot of injuries. after that game, you could see now we are 4-0 in conference. If we go take a look at our injuries, because we had a few guys got injured that game, and it looks like none of them actually transferred over. So they were really just kind of, injuries in that game. They should be back for this game this week against the Buffalo Bulls. Not the Buffalo Bills, but the Buffalo Bulls. And then if we take a look at our conference, currently number 1 in our conference. So hopefully we could end up winning conference this year. Just to keep up with recruiting, I kind of changed the points around a little bit for some of these guys. Obviously still going with the same for the running back. We still are giving him 40. Still giving 50. We're still giving the same for a lot of these guys except for the receiver. I took some of our points off because we should get him to commit next week, which means, we don't have to give, I don't think, the full 65, which we were before. We should be able to get it done with the 35. The other schools shouldn't be able to catch us. And then I gave those points to this quarterback. So we're giving the full 65 to this 5-star QB. I think it's really gettable. None of the teams in his top 8 have a pipeline tier. And he also, he also has no scholarship. So we really, really could get a nationally ranked 7th. And then a 5-star quarterback, first in his position, Jared Suggs. So we'll see how that goes. I didn't scout him, so he could, for all I know, be a bust, right? But, we're going to just hope for the best. Regardless, even if he is, a broken gem, I think getting a 5-star QB at the end of the day is still going to be really, really good. And then, yeah, if you look at the rest of our scouting, right now we're really ahead on this guy. We could take off our points, but I don't know. For me, I feel like with any of these gem players, especially at linebacker position we really need, I don't even want to take the chance of taking the points off, even though Michigan or Penn State haven't even gave this guy an offer. I just don't even feel like doing it. I just don't want to risk it. But so far, we're looking pretty good for these prospects. But we have our game against, like I said, the Buffalo Bulls. They are a lower overall in everything. So hopefully we can go out and, really lock in and try to, get another game won, be 5-0 in the conference, and see what happens from there. So our team continues to stay hot, as you can see, with 1:22 left. We are up 31-17. We're just going to kneel it out because they do not have any more timeouts. So the win streak continues, and I wonder if our team could actually get ranked because so far it looks like we have a chance. I know we have a relatively weak conference, but right now we are 8-1 on the season now, and this is by far, hopefully not a fluke run, but this is by far a really big surprise. I did not expect us to actually, win a lot of these games, and then to go 8-1 right now so far is definitely something I didn't expect. In terms of player stats for that game, Kenny Lute, 16 for 28, 3 touchdowns, interception, 260 yards, 57 completion percentage. So, kind of interesting stat line. He had like an okay game. The completion percentage could be better. Shakir Westbrook, 17 carries for 71 yards. Still getting the ball going. The fumbles has been a concern that I have had with him, though. I think he's fumbled literally like the last 3 or 4 games. Another game without a touchdown for him. And then receiving, we have, Kenji Lewis has been insane, and he's a senior. At a 74 overall, Kenji Lewis has been playing amazing. But as a senior, we are not going to have him next year, so that is something we're going to have to replace. But we do have still obviously a lot of people putting in work that are not seniors, so we should be good for next year. But let's continue our run. Let's see if we actually end up getting ranked. Because at this point, there's a good chance we slip into like 25, 24 maybe. Who knows? So as we get on to the next week, you could see we got a commit, maybe another commit. Who knows? But we do get Taylor Averill from Shelbyville, Illinois. So he's staying relatively local. We still got a few guys in here. And the quarterback race is now going to get a little more interesting. I see that a lot of schools gave him offers. So that is interesting. We still are not ranked 8-1 right now. Let's look at the college football top 25. And I could definitely tell that a lot of it is based off our opponent's strength because if you look at some of the teams ranked, I mean, Stanford's 6-3. They have some other schools that have, a few losses and aren't that great of schools. North Texas, I'm pretty sure we played first game of the season, and they're 7-2, ranked 19th. As if we go take a look at our team schedule, yeah, our first game of the season, we did play North Texas, and we did end up winning. So, overall, if you look at our schedule, I mean, we've been on a win streak for sure. We haven't lost a game since the second game of the season. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game win streak. And the rest of our schedule still, like I said, looks pretty easy. Like, our conference is pretty easy. We'll see what happens next year. I still don't think we're good enough to transfer out of this conference. But if we have another successful year next year with this team, then we could see us transferring to like the Big Ten or something like that. Who knows? We'll see. But before we get into the game, I want to look at recruiting. We are number 1 for this running back still. Number 1 for this right end that we aren't even giving points to. But, he's that likely to come to our school. So we'll see. This right tackle we should end up getting. We could probably take some points off of him if we feel like we have to, put it in other places. We do get our receiver to commit, which is really good for us because, our top receiver this year, Kenji Lewis, he's been obviously really good for us, and we're going to lose him. So we're going to need to replace it with some type of receiver, and so far it looks like the only one we're going to get. For everyone else, we're ahead of the race except for the quarterback, who might be hard to get because he now has Michigan looking at him. But I think it's definitely possible considering, none of the schools that are trying to get him, have a pipeline. So there's a good chance we could still get Jared Suggs. And he's going to have our full focus as we get down to it because a lot of these guys are going to start, committing relatively soon. Hopefully at least they commit relatively soon. So, we'll have to see how that goes. But I definitely do think, we could have a pretty good chance of getting him. So we're gonna give the full 50 now to this running back and hope that we can get him to commit. But that's what we're gonna run. Continue our win streak. Hopefully, we could find a way to get ranked before the season's over. We have 3 more games, and we're playing Western Michigan. So let's see how that goes against Western Michigan. Quickly, I do want to look at the overalls. We are the better team on paper. We'll have to see what happens, and let's see if we could extend us to 9-1. The streak is going to probably stay alive. As you can see, we are up by 20 points, and we are playing in a snow game. They just get a touchdown there, so they're running up the score. But either way, we are going to end out with the win here. I thought our team was not going to be ready for a snow game, maybe, considering I think this is our first and only snow game I have seen us play. And I'm not gonna lie, as I was simming this game, I was really thinking about it. Honestly, we might transfer to the Big Ten next year, and even if we do obviously have a really bad record next year, I do think that we are worthy of transferring if we do, win out the rest of the season. Because the one game we did lose, if you didn't watch that episode in the beginning of the season, we lost a game because our kicker missed a field goal, and because we had no aggressiveness to take a shot at the end zone with 18 seconds left when it was 2nd and goal. So I'm not really too sure how we lost that game. And I said we're going to fire our offensive coordinator from it. I still don't know if I will, because right now we have been winning a lot of games. Should we? I don't know. But, I have to look at the grades. Maybe if it gets our coach prestige up to fire him and bring someone else in, we might still do it. But as you can see here, game's about to be over. We're punting the ball. 4th and 10. Should draw out the rest of the clock, hopefully, as there's 10 seconds remaining. They're just going to go probably for a deep shot and hope they could just run up the score. But we are definitely on a run. That's actually a touchdown? Is that going to be a touchdown? It is a touchdown. So this game is being dragged out right now. I ain't gonna lie. There was literally like 30 seconds left, and they had the ball. They scored a touchdown, and now we just scored a touchdown off of a fumble. So we run up the score, and our offense has been really good this year. Obviously a little bit swayed right there from that touchdown, but still overall, I mean, we have had a really, really good offensive season. We are putting up at least 30 in like almost every game, and our defense has been holding their own too. Like, they haven't been allowing any like 40-point games. We've been overall really good as we officially get the win now. That puts us at what, 9-1 now. So we're just going along through it, and we are really killing this conference. If we take a look at how our quarterback played, 300 yards, 73% completion percentage, and 3 touchdowns. So senior quarterback comes in as a backup and absolutely is playing amazing in that role. He was ready for it. And then Shakir Westbrook's also had an insane game. 15 rushes for 94 yards. He had 5 broken tackles, a touchdown, 2 20-plus yard runs, 73 yards after contact. That's a really good game out of him. And then our receiving core, I mean, Kenji Lewis and Keyshawn Pipkin have been great all year for us. So yeah, I mean, we're just rolling right now. So let's see how we continue. Maybe again, I'm gonna say it again because we didn't last week, but maybe this week we actually do get ranked now. So as we get to the next week, we get another commit with Eric Velasco, right tackle out of Dacula, Georgia. And then we also get the right outside linebacker, Terrence Kenoy from Michigan. Okay, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I'm not going to lie. Or maybe I will. Ypsilanti, Michigan. I probably pronounced that completely wrong. But we are, now B+ for championship contender. Are we ranked is the question. We get a defensive player of the game, Caden Curry, as we are still not ranked. So they just not respecting us. They have Navy ranked at 7-2, and they don't have us ranked. So we're definitely gonna transfer. Okay, we're transferring next season, especially if we win out the rest of these games. We're just too good for our conference, I think. So we might have a down year next year, but I think it's still gonna be worth it if we transfer, and then overall we'll be playing better competition. We're going to give the max points to this running back because now it looks like we actually could lose him. And same with this right end. It's not looking the greatest as another school is now on him. And then we are still number 1 for majority of these guys, however, so that still is obviously really good. We're going to max out the points for this quarterback-ish, or 60. I think 60 should be good. We're going to give, or we can't give a visit yet, because he's in his top 8 still, apparently. Could have sworn he's in his top 5. Unless we just don't have a week we can give him a visit, because it is coming down to the wire for a lot of these guys. So we might not be able to give a visit to bro. And we're going to give the rest of our points to this right end and see what happens. Right now, we have a decent class going. I mean, we have a 5-star, 2 4-stars, and the rest are kind of like 3 stars. But like, I think especially for our school, it's pretty hard to recruit people to the school right now. Next season, it should be a lot easier considering we have gotten a lot better. And there's still this guy, Ricky Angel, who we don't know what position he is, but he still has no offer. So we'll add him to the board just in case. But, a lot of the top guys are now obviously into their, top 5 or their top 8 or stuff like that. So, we'll see what happens. But there's still a good chance we get this right tackle who is a, 4-star and then this 5-star quarterback. If we can get him, that would be great because, it's always good to have as much talent on the team as possible. But now we're playing 4-6 Toledo. Let's take a look at the overalls. We've been better than every team in our conference as they're actually, tied in overall. So this should be a closer and better game. So, see if we can keep it alive. 6-0 in conference, 9-1 on the season. We should honestly be undefeated. But let's go see what happens in the game against Toledo. So, with 2 minutes left, we're going to be watching the rest of this game out, as it is actually a good situation. And I didn't even know, but Ethan Hampton, this was his first game back, so maybe it looks like a little bit of struggles for his first game back. I know it's been kind of repetitive this season. Y'all got to let me know in the comments what y'all want to see. A lot of these games, obviously, we have went into the sim, and you're not really seeing what's going on too much. A lot of that is because, one, we're just early on. We don't really want to drag out, some of these early seasons since we're not that good. And then also mixed with a lot of these situations we have been in, it's kind of been blowouts. There's not been many close games we have had this season. So, whenever we do, we obviously will watch. Like right now, this is a big situation. If we can score a touchdown, tie the game. As Ethan Hampton looks like I said, he's kind of struggling in his return, as he does have 2 interceptions thrown this game. So hopefully we could at least get a touchdown. This might go to OT though, I'm not gonna lie. If we find a way to score a touchdown and then there's not much time left on the clock and they don't score, but we gotta get the ball moving here. 2nd and 12. Quarterback makes a nice throw, so Ethan Hampton throws it over the middle. And if we lose this game and we lose next game with Ethan Hampton starting, I will put Kenny Luth back in. I'm not going to lie. I will pivot back to Kenny Luth because he was cooking. I'm not going to lie. As we get another throw there, get us the first. There's a minute 40. We still have 2 timeouts. And Shakir Westbrook's our freshman running back. He has to also be really tired because he gets a lot of carries every game. As we get pass over the middle, let's see what the flag is. It's on the defense, so we should be good here still. We're moving it up the field. We got a minute 30. If we could score a touchdown here, like I said, it could put us in an overtime situation. As we run the ball, and didn't look the greatest at all. Like I said, Shakir Westbrook's, I don't know if running the ball is the best option right now. He's probably exhausted towards, obviously the end of the season right now, and he's getting a pretty heavy workload for our team. This game, he has, I think, probably, 17 carries at this point. As we throw it over the middle and get a touchdown, I'm pretty sure that's Kenji Lewis's number 12, right? I'm like 99% sure that's Kenji Lewis. And if so, like I said, senior receiver has been stepping up for the team. He's been cooking, I'm not going to lie. But it is Kenji Lewis, so extra point. Hopefully our kicker can make. Let's see. This is big because apparently our kicker does like to miss in certain situations. So now we have a minute left. There's still a chance we could actually win this game in also regulation. If we could stop them quick, we can get the ball back. But more so focused on the part about stopping them because they have 3 timeouts and a minute left to get in field goal range. So let's keep them out of that. Keep our win streak. I want to see us get ranked. I'm not gonna lie, I really do. As we make a really big stop right there, that's a big play. And they had to use a timeout for injury, so that's actually really, really good for us if we could find a way to stop them. As we get an interception here, take it to the house. That is a big, big, bad decision out of their quarterback. As number 3, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know many of our defensive guys, so I don't know who that is, but that is a really, really big interception. As that's gonna keep us alive. We're gonna win this game. We should run out the ball here, run out the clock, and then hopefully we make a field goal. So Shakir Westbrook's, yeah, I mean, he has 20 carries for 55 yards. He has not been that efficient this game either, and I think he's just really exhausted. He has to be tired. I mean, the wear and tear throughout the whole season for him, he's been having a high workload. Not even surprised, as they have to use their last 2 timeouts. And we should be able to end this game here, as we're going to run out the rest of this clock. And then hopefully our kicker can end this game. If we actually end the season with 1 loss, I'm going to be really sad that 1 loss was, the whole situation with our kicker. So This is the last play of the game. The clock is running down. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2. And our kicker puts it through. And that's going to win us the game. So we extend to 10-1. And we're just having everything go right for us right now. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I thought, it was definitely going OT after we scored. We get a big interception. Really bad decision from their quarterback to kind of make that throw in that situation. A risky throw, which helped us win the game. Look at our fans. They are going crazy in the crowd. They're throwing a guy up in the air right now. I would too if I went to Northern Illinois University and my fucking football team is 10-1 out of nowhere. Never been good for you. So Ethan Hampton, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 296 yards. He kind of seen some struggles early on, I think it looked like, from, kind of just returning. Shakir Westbrook's 22 carries for 53 yards. That's not, ideal at all. An average of 2.4 yards per carry. That's also really interesting considering he had a 20-yard run. So he kind of just was going nowhere for the rest of his rushes. It basically was what was going on. Keyshawn Pipkin, big game. Kenji Lewis, big game. They have been a dynamic duo receiving core. Both always getting some touchdowns. Both getting a lot of yards. And Keyshawn Pipkin's a junior, so we still have him for next year. And I want to see who actually got the interception. Who is number 3 on this team? As that is Jacob Finley, our junior cornerback, who, again, another guy that we'll have next year. He also had 5 tackles as a corner, so he was having himself a game. That was a really big interception as we extend our record to 10-1 and 7-0 in conference. As we get to what is, I'm pretty sure, our last game of the season, let me take a look at our schedule really quick. As again, we're still not ranked. They have Florida, who's 7-4. They are ranked, and Jack State, who's also not in a good conference. They're 9-2 and they're ranked. So I don't know what's going on, but they just don't like us. Okay, they just don't like us. They're not trying to give us a rank for some reason. Hopefully, maybe we're ranked after what I'm pretty sure is our last game. Yeah, it's our last game of the season. We're playing Ohio, so let's end the season strong here. We should obviously have the game to take conference. In terms of recruiting, we did end up losing out on the running back, so we're going to have to find someone else to replace him once we're in the off season of recruiting. But yeah, I mean, our season's been going really good still, and we're still number 1 for the quarterback. Hopefully, we could end out being number 1. For some reason, we can't schedule him a visit. I'm assuming because there is no more weeks really to give him a visit. But it's our last game of the season. Let's see how it goes. Obviously, if it's a big situation, we'll kind of jump in early on. If not, we're just going to, watch it till the end. So, last game of the season, and it is a tie game right now, and we're at the 1-yard line. Another snow game. As Shakir Westbrook gets the ball, he rushes in for a touchdown. And I wonder where he's at in terms of rushing, because this is the last game of the season. I want to check the stats of everyone after the season's over, how they rank in terms of yards and touchdowns, all that type of stuff. But we get a touchdown here, so we have a minute left to hopefully stop them. They have no more timeouts, as we kind of got rid of a lot of clock right there where they had to use some timeouts. So we have a minute left to stop them. Hopefully we don't allow them to, score here so that they put us in overtime. So I don't think they changed the rankings after the last game of the season, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think there is a chance we get ranked. However, if we could finish off 11-1 where we did lose that one game, like I said, that was an insane way for us to lose. Then, I definitely think it would be a lot different of a situation right now. But 2nd and 19 here. They throw it over the middle. That's not good, as they're also, I think, going to get out of bounds. Looks like he did, so the clock does stop. 47 seconds left. Still got a long way to go for a touchdown, but we need to make sure we keep them inbounds if we are going to tackle them, because that clock needs to tick down, as that was a big swat right there from the defense. Our defense has been looking pretty decent. I mean, they still allow a decent amount of points, but it is college football. If we can get some stops, like right there, that's great. Clock's now moving. and we tackled them inbounds. So time's ticking down for them to try to find a way to upset us here. Throw it over, and he's still in bounds. So the clock is not moving. So maybe he did. Oh, no, the clock's moving now. So they're going to spike the ball here. They got 18 seconds to work with. They have to get a touchdown, too. So hopefully we don't find a way to allow them to get a touchdown here. Come on. 2nd and 10. That's a big sack. He's going to feel that one. I mean, the season's over for him after this shit. So it doesn't really matter. They got 5 seconds left. This is going to be the last play of the game. 2 seconds left. 1 second left. Quarterback rolls back, and he's just going to take the sack. 4th and 30. Game's over. And we finished the season 11-1. So, hey, man. Amazing season from us. We still have probably, obviously, our bowl game and our conference, championship. So we still have some games left in the season, but we ended off the regular season amazing. Let's take a look at the stats from this game. For Northern Illinois, Ethan Hampton, 225 yards with 2 touchdowns. And for rushing, Shakir Westbrook's had 3 touchdowns, 84 yards, 27 carries is insane. And he had 1 broken tackle. So he was playing good. Defensively, we have anyone who got an interception or anything? We had 2 interceptions. Santana Banner and Muhammad Jameh. I don't know. Something like that. But that's going to do it for the season, though. So let's see what the postseason looks like for us. So as we get to the next week, we get LaMichael Dacus to commit to us, right outside linebacker. And then everyone else still is, we're still in the race for. We're still number 1 for a lot of the guys. And now we have the MAC championship against Bowling Green. I'm assuming that's this week, right? I know this is a bye week, so see what we do for recruiting. This is like our last week of recruiting before we kind of are done with recruiting for now, because we're gonna have to, focus on the postseason before we kind of do any of the other stuff. But we're gonna give some more points to this guy, Ricky Angel here, and it doesn't look like I could schedule visits, obviously. So the rest of these points we're just going to give to this guy, even though I don't think he's that good, but we need a free safety. Obviously, you see he is a bust. So, but we need a free safety, so we're going to go out and get him. We're going to send this bye week. I'm assuming we're not ranked, right? Yeah, we're not ranked. They did not change the rankings. I think they did. We just still somehow we're not ranked. We went 11-1. And they're just disrespecting us. They don't think we're a top 25 school with an 11-1 record. Like, you're telling me that 10-2 Jacksonville State, who's also in a bad conference, who's a 75 overall, is ranked 20th, but we're not ranked? Really, bro? North Texas, who we literally beat, finished 9-3, also not in that good of a conference, and we're still not ranked. They're just not respecting us. I ain't gonna lie. They are not respecting us. But that's a bye week. Let's sim past this week. Let's see if we get any commits this week. As we do, we get quarterback Leonel Nix to commit. And we still have, obviously, the rest of these guys we're still on right now. As it looks like, yeah, we have our conference scheduled game. Take a look at our staff. We could fire our coaches, but they were pretty good this year. I was going to fire our offensive coordinator. I'm not going to lie. I definitely was thinking about it. But he turned it around, okay? He turned it around. We only lost that one game of the season. I addressed the problems with him. I say, hey, listen, bro. Never again are you going to kick a field goal when it's 18 seconds left in the game and we're second and goal. Take an end zone shot first. There's still 18 seconds, okay? I talked to him about it. He's keeping his job. Same with our defensive coordinator. We're going to keep our coaches after that really good season. But I'm probably going to end it here. And then our conference championship and bowl game, if we have a bowl game. I'm assuming we do. Let's take a look at bowl projections. I'm assuming we have a bowl game. Yeah, we have a bowl game, obviously, against Applicant State. So I'm going to save all the, the postseason and the offseason all for next episode. However, before we get to that, I do want to look at the season stats for all of our players, considering, season's obviously over now. In terms of quarterbacks, I mean, Kenny Luth had a really, really good, kind of underrated run for our team. He didn't play as many games, but he had, 15-2. Ethan Hampton, 19-3. I mean, really good from our quarterbacks. I do want to see how it compares to nationally ranked, though, so we're going to go through that first before we kind of look over just our team. I want to see, got to scroll through all these damn fucking schools. Let's take a look at first national. Let's take a look at national first. So obviously passing yards, we're not going to be anywhere on here. Rushing, I do want to see. Shakir Westbrooks was 4th for rushing yards out of all college running backs, and he's a freshman. If you look at everyone else, senior, junior, senior, sophomore, senior, junior. So a lot of people who are getting yards. He just barely broke it. 1,001 yard. He literally just broke it. In terms of touchdowns, he ranked 5th nationally. The fumbles he has to work on, okay? He was almost leading the nation in fumbles too, so that's not good. 4th for broken tackles. His longest run's actually nowhere near a lot of these other guys. His longest run's only 35 yards. And I'm assuming he did play all 12 games. I think he did play for us. There's a lot of guys on here, so I don't really want to look at that. But you can just sort by yards and see. Yeah, he played all 12 games. So, yeah, he had an amazing season. He's a true freshman and he did some amazing stuff. Obviously, we expect that from every season from now on. He's still going to continue to do that. In terms of receiving yards, do we have any of the top receivers? Our top receiver is Keyshawn Pipkin. So Keyshawn Pipkin, who we also have next year, he also had over 1,000 yards. So that's a really good season out of him. In terms of touchdowns, probably not on here. I don't know. I don't think so. Defensively, do we really care about a lot of this? I don't know where we rank defensively. I'm not going to lie. The leading sacks in the whole nation was 4.5 only. I feel like that's really, really low. Anyways, let's take a look at where we rank in the MAC, because that's kind of all that really matters. So in terms of passing yards, obviously we're not going to be up here. We were kind of rotating throughout quarterbacks throughout the season, but I guarantee you, if Ethan Hampton played a full season, he probably would be up there. Same with Kenny Luth. Kenny Luth also had a really, really good season. So if both of them played the whole full season, they probably would have did their thing. In terms of rushing yards, Shakir Westbrooks was 2nd. Terrion Stewart, who was a dog also. So, still really good for Shakir Westbrooks. He also probably had the most, he had the second most fumbles in the whole nation, or in the whole MAC. He also probably had the most touchdowns. He had the most touchdowns, or rushing touchdowns. He had the most rushing touchdowns. So, yeah, he's doing his thing. Shakir Westbrooks, really, really good season. In terms of receiving yards, we had the top receiver in all of our conference. And then Kenji Lewis is also down here. So, in terms of touchdowns, we have some of the top guys up here also. So, even Kyle Thomas is up here with 10. So, I mean, we were just scoring a lot of touchdowns. And then in terms of defense, do we have anyone that's leading for a lot of these? In terms of interceptions, we don't have anyone that's kind of up here. I'm not going to lie. Sacks, do we have anyone for... This guy has 14 sacks. I swear I just saw in the whole nation the leading one was like 4.5. This makes a lot more sense right here. I don't know why nationally ranked it had it at 4.5. But this makes a lot more sense. Cam Crowell, who's a junior, is up here at 6.5. So, our defense also was doing their thing. Cornerback Ty Miles was 4th in the whole MAC for tackles. And yeah, that's really all that matters. The rest of it we don't really care about. But yeah, I mean, our freshman Shakir Westbrook's amazing season. quarterbacks, receivers. Everyone had an amazing season. And next we have the MAC championship, and then we have our bowl game. So both of those we're going to leave for next episode, as we're gonna in those obviously have those two games, which we're gonna focus a little bit more on. So we're actually gonna like watch the games, and then we're going to have obviously the off-season recruiting and all that, transfer portal, and then we'll see. By then we'll make our decision if we want to transfer conferences or not, because we absolutely blew our conference out the water. If we don't win the MAC championship, though, it means nothing. So we're gonna have to see with that. But that's really all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.